Well, good morning. Good morning, all, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year. My name is Floresia Allen. I am host of Talk About It, Sweet Potato Society, which, I'm happy to see all of you, so thank you for tuning in with us. We wanted to start the year off about talking about things that are going to happen during the following year, events that we're going to be participating in, partnerships that we're having, so we want to share that with you. We have also our treasurer for Sweet Potato Society, Gregory Allen. He'll be talking about some of the things that we're doing and some of the upcoming stuff that's, so I want to welcome him as well. Well, good morning, Gregory.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Okay.
Okay. Brisk out there for you?
Oh, yeah, really. Well, this is January, and we are in New England.
Especially with the traveling that we do all over the place.
Yes.
Okay, so Greg, I have you here. I know we talk about, Treasury and our grant writing, and we have, Marissa, part of our team, Marissa Hank, and a lot of the team that we have at AHEPA, and different, in Solstice, places like that we're doing a lot for our seniors and veterans. Talk to us about, what you've seen, in as far as, not the monetary amount, but what you've seen as far as the giving side and the service side of what Sweet Potato Society has been doing these past few months that we haven't, because it's been busy. The holidays were really busy for us. I saw you out there, delivering all those turkeys and the turkey drives, and also during the Christmas time. Tell me what you did for Christmas. What Sweet Potato, what you did during the time of Sweet Potato Society as far as giving.
We did deliver food baskets and to the seniors, like we do every year. Turkeys, potatoes, carrots, for people that's a need, and we did go up to the Navy base up there where the living up there in Groton, delivered to them.
We did.
And it was very, very, very. They were very exciting getting their gifts, getting their food, and not even that. We did do a lot for the Lions Club.
Yes, for Niantic Lions.
Niantic Lions Club. Traveling all over the state of Connecticut, delivering food and people in need. People in need, and I was very, very grateful and honored just to see their faces. Once they got their food. It was an honor. I was grateful.
Well, see, that's good. That is, and I understand that, and I feel that. I really do feel it. For anyone who's out there who'd like to, call in, ask some questions about more of what we do in Sweet Potato Society, you can call in at 860-440-3154. Ask some questions, see what, if you want to have some more contact through us. Our email address, you can check us out on our website, which is sweetpotatosociety.org. You can email myself and Marissa and Greg at sweetpotatosociety2@yahoo.com, and and ask questions. Give us surveys as well. We have the ability to do that. So you can verify things, or if you're in need, or if you know anybody who's in need of things. We've come across quite a few people, and it was a great thing for us to be able to be involved with the Navy base up there in Groton and deliver to some of those families, in which that's one thing we want to touch on. There's so much going on, right? There's so much going on to the point where I know that everybody's in need, and people coming from like the other states in the military should, but that's just me. Remember, let's talk about it. Remember, I haven't changed. This is Floresia. We should not be making them feel like they have everything when they have families and they are just starting out in the military and they need. when you have 3 or 4 children, or even if you have two, even if you have one child, and you and your spouse are trying to make it, and you move from state to state, I think that the entities we all need to, Greg is a veteran, so he knows what he has seen out there at the VA and what he's seen out there. Touch bases on some of those things, because sometimes when you see some people, it's not just that are in need or out here. It's not that they're just always just looking for a hand out. They're looking for a hand up. I don't think that our service and our veterans, our service families, should have to go through the extreme of what some of them that we have actually encountered, that no one would even call them back, some of them said, just because they were in need of food, and because they lived, some of them that lived way out, in places like Moosup or other places where they're Windham County, where they're not able to get that. So Greg, talk about that part of it, of what you've seen as far as the military and the kids, and and about the non-communication of the service and the VA. Talk about things like that. I think it's wonderful, but all that we do, but I think that we should look into some more services for them. What do you think?
Well, definitely look for more service for the veterans. I mean, of course, they put the uniform on and serve the country. But as we know, going back in history, like you said earlier, they're not looking for handouts. They're looking for a hand in. Mm-hmm. Hopefully time tells everything.
Yeah.
They're getting more.
Mm-hmm.
What they have gotten from before. But
Okay.
here we go again. The time is slow, but it's the resources are out here, and thank God they have people like yourself and me supporting you to see the need in people, the care in people, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take the care and to see the good things and the love in people, especially in the veterans, with mental health, and that's another thing, mental health.
Yeah.
A lot of these veterans, you talk about the veterans right now, and a lot of them are going through the mental health. And of course, like you always say to me, it's your mind, your body, your spirit, and your soul. The outside's the flesh, but the mind and your brain controls everything. And it comes down to mental health.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as time go by, we can get these veterans the mental health that they need, and it's up to the individual too. It's up to the veteran to accept it. I mean, to accept the mental health. So this way they know that there's hope, and there's, we can only do but so much, Risa, and yourself. We can give them food, we can give them this, can give them that, but it comes down to mental health. They have to accept that there is help out here, and have to accept it. And like I said, time tells everything. But like I said earlier, Sweet Potato Society, as long as I've been helping you with this program, is hope. There's hope, and that's all you give. That's all you give out here for the veterans. Give them hope from this program, and me helping you support Sweet Potato Society as a nonprofit.
That's a great thing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for letting us see that side of it from you and your aspect of it. And you're right. You can only lead a horse to water, and you can't make them drink it. But you don't know what you don't know, and that's what I reiterate about that a lot. We automatically think as humans that everybody is on the same page about everything, but we're not. we're not on the same page. We tend to miss it a little bit when we don't think that. Now, don't talk to people like they don't know anything, but introduce them to new ideas and see where their head is at and ask how they feel about it. But if they don't know how to go get resources, if they don't know that they need that help, because we can't see ourselves. We know what we want to project and how we think in our mind of what we're thinking, but that doesn't mean that we're projecting it the same way. So we can't always see what's appearing in front of another. So we don't know. Sometimes people don't know that they need help, and especially if the mind is, and we have several different lobes that control center. This control center takes care of all over us. But if there's one part that's weaker than the other, we can't see it because it's our control center that's not working to the best of its ability. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I just look at it like not everybody knows everything, and not everyone knows what they can't see. They can't see it themselves. If you don't have the avenue, if you don't have the means to go out and get it, or even know where to go and get it at, mm-hmm. That's the tackle. But to me, and I never served, but I've been in a big military family, and I have a veteran husband, and I know, what is expected of a military family. But I still say that with all of this that we can do and the billions and trillions of dollars that we do for a multitude of people, our military should not be so slow in servicing us or servicing its own. And like you said, they put the uniform on. So putting that on, you're saying, I give my life to protect another. So we should be saying, okay, you're going to protect me if something happens, right? So if you're going to do that, I need to put myself in the line to be able to give and do for you because you're protecting me. Don't you think?
No, it's no thing. That is a fact. No thing. That is a fact. But here we go again. It's like you said, it's up. It really is. It's really up to the. It's really up to the individual, like yourself, and people people that do know, that still, want to edge God out. You know what I mean? People I can know, but if I'm thinking that I know everything, if I'm thinking I'm the higher power, it's not going to work, and that goes for individuals that put a uniform. We're talking about the veterans, the one that put a uniform on. Mm-hmm. The first thing they say, well, they put the uniform on. I did not force them to put the uniform on. I did not put a gun to their head to put the uniform on.
Right.
You have people that has that mindset and they have that mentality, that selfish mentality, that say, you know what, they put the uniform on. I didn't force them to do that. So why should I give my life to them?
You didn't force it, and we have a caller on line one where to answer that. We didn't force it. That's not saying, but they still did it unselfishly.
That's true.
Unselfishly, we should say someone did something for us.
That's true.
So then we should give back because unselfishly they did that. Let's see who's on caller number one. I know that we were going to have, audience, thank you so much. We were going to have Marissa call in and talk about some of the things and programs that are happening with some of the seniors and veteran programs, and she's on line one now. I hope I don't mess this up. If I do, we got to get the caller back. All right, here we go.
Just push the button.
I've pushed it 3 times and it's still blinking. Still blinking. And still blinking. You sure it's not the middle button?
Yeah, push the middle button.
Oh, okay. I pushed the blinking button.
Talk.
Hello, Marissa. How are you? How can I help you, caller? Hello, caller. You're on the line. How can I help you?
Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh, well, hello. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good, thank you. And who is this? Is this Marissa?
Yes, this is Marissa.
Hi, Marissa. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's good. That's good. You know, we do miss you here at the show. We have a great audience, and we're speaking on things that are upcoming in for the year to come for us, and on the show things that we're going to be addressing. So I'm happy that you were able to call in to give some input of things that what we've been doing as far as with the seniors, with the veterans, the art space, things that are coming up at some of the programs that we are initiating. Not a full description of them because we got our programs though, and you know. But so you have any questions for us, or first of all, give us some insight on some of the things that are going to be happening between now and the spring.
Between now and spring, we have a few upcoming programs for seniors and veterans,
Mm-hmm.
some art-based education programs, and hopefully some more opportunities to get the youth involved with helping to service the veteran and senior populations of our area.
Okay, all right, that's going to be nice.
Some exciting things coming up.
Yeah, that's nice. That's great, and that is very nice. And you know the thing I just which I didn't mention earlier. I know Greg and I were talking about the seniors and the veteran population especially. We were talking about our take on things that we have started seeing more of, not being able to, and why the veteran population is not. It's slow for military to help our veterans. And I don't think agencies see that. Always. And I mean, we have a multitude of trillions of dollars that are here in the States, but we don't see it moving as fast when it comes to giving to our veterans. So what do you think? What do you think about that?
I mean, I agree. I think it's unfortunate that there's not. I feel like the government likes to talk a lot, like they are helping our veterans and they've made all these programs for them. But I think I agree with you when it comes down to like when the money is spent and how fast it's spent to help them. I do feel as though they tend to get left, and other groups tend to get focused on more when it comes to like programming or aid or organizations into helping them. And I think that there needs to be a bigger conversation and more like action towards ways that we can help the veterans, because I mean they, a lot of them, are in situations where they really could benefit from certain kinds of programming and different kinds of services. And I think that, the conversation should kind of, focus on them more than I think it has been when it comes to like aid organizations or nonprofits.
You know what? And you speak. You touched on a couple of things that just brought to my mind, and and me and Greg also speak about this as well. See, the thing of it is that and I'm going to share with everyone here that Marissa has been abroad to several different places, so she's just not seeing military here in the States. She is. Can you expound upon that? About how you see the difference in service, and see that the fortune that we have in the United States, opposed to places that you have been, where it shows more services and how it should be more connected, and how much more it can be, and how you can see the difference in things. So can you just give us a little bit on that?
I mean, I've been abroad to Ghana in West Africa a few times, and they have a pretty big military base, and they, they do look after their police and their military when they're in the field. So when it comes to them, leaving service or active duty or retiring from the military, there isn't much the government does to support them.
Okay.
I will say that I think if you leave active duty or you retire from the military, you're probably in a little bit better retirement situation than maybe the average citizen. But I do know that there unfortunately is a lot of political corruption in their parliament, and so as of the spring or winter of 2023, there was a big issue about the government going into people's personal retirement savings accounts and taking out a tax from it.
Wow.
And people were protesting that because, that's their retirement money. And so I do wonder if the government was doing that for everyone's savings accounts, if the military veterans were having the same
Okay.
thing happening to them or not. But regardless, there is a big issue about when it comes to retiring in Ghana or when it comes to leaving active duty, there is not a lot of services provided in general, even on a basic level. Any kind of veteran organization, Veterans Affairs, it's pretty scarce to see any active involvement there. And so I will say in the U.S., there are, veterans organizations, there's the VA, there are nonprofits that are trying to do the work to get the services provided. And so I do think that even though there's more work to be done and more services to offer, that the U.S. is still thinking about their veterans more than I would say some other countries that I've been to do.
Okay, all right. No, I get that. Yes, that I can understand that, but I still say, we spend out a lot on other types of services. I'm not in there, other types of, things that we can't, the money is not being policed and allocated properly, to me. Because there is a big discussion on drugs and contraband coming into the United States. Well, there has to be a way it's getting in here. And if we have, correct me, right, Greg? I mean, let's have the conversation. There has to be a way that it's getting in here. I know we started talking about, nonprofit and food and stuff, but, we always get into all these different conversations. But there has to be a way that they're getting in there, and that is millions of dollars that is, and billions of dollars that are used for trafficking and exporting in any way that we can. I mean, even to the point where we have, these reality shows about trafficking and contraband and coming in illegally and anything else they have to be done. So if we have money to spend like that, we should try to allocate some of it to the veterans that we know that are here home that need more. I don't know. I'm just saying it. But let's just go back to, all right, so, and you said, you mentioned the youth. You mentioned about the youth youth programs and bridging that gap. Because today's youth are not, and Greg, what do you think? Today's youth are not, and I don't mean it, we don't mean any harm, Marissa or anyone out there in the audience who are generations under millennials, okay, because they are as well, but who are in that age of 25 and under, 27 and under. I'm just saying, we don't mean any harm, but I think that we're missing the boat. We are, because we've done that. We're missing it where we protect it so much. We protected where now the youth don't know how to go forward. Because they did a political, I was watching on one of the, on something on Fox News, and they asked a question about some of the candidates and about the 20-somethings and how they feel like the United States has failed them. What do you think about that, Marissa? What do you think about that, Greg?
Marissa can take that.
He said, Marissa, you can take that.
Please.
I think on an economic level,
'Cause she's in that age group.
I mean, since 2008, when a lot of us were growing up, we've been in a kind of a perpetual economic crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do feel like, economically speaking, I do agree that yes, there's been certain things that have changed since that financial crisis, and even during and after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still very hard right now in any job market once you graduate college to be in a position where you're able to afford the cost of living and save up for anything, because rent is so expensive, food is so expensive, and the jobs you get out of college, you're not making the same as our parents' levels, because we're just starting. And
Mm-hmm.
so even when it comes to that aspect, I agree. And I also do agree politically in some ways as well that, I mean, this past summer we just had Roe v. Wade overturned
Mm-hmm.
in the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And as a woman myself, and as a young woman who's starting out her adult life, and who wants to eventually have children, for me, when that happened, that was probably one of the most upsetting monumental acts in history that I lived through. And it was a day that I'll never remember of my rights being taken away. And so I do feel there's a lot of other young adult women and teens that lived through that moment as well, who feel how could this have happened? And how did our government get to a place where this could happen? And so when it comes to those two aspects, I do have to agree with that comment that was made.
Okay, all right. And but you don't think it works both ways?
I think that, I mean, there's a lot.
In some aspects.
In my experience growing up, there have been countless opportunities to volunteer, to join debate teams, to get active in local politics, and from the people I know, I grew up in two different regions of Connecticut. I grew up most of my life in North Stonington, near the Rhode Island border, and then I finished my high school career along the shoreline in Chester at Valley Regional. And from going to two different high schools and having friends at others, I know that people are actively engaged. And my civics class that I took in high school was probably one of the most student engagement active classes that I ever have taken in a high school. And everyone was involved, and me and some of the other students actually corrected our teacher on this one lesson that he was doing about constitutional law. And we ended up being actually correct, and he had to come back the next day and be oh yes, you guys were actually right, I apologize, and teach the correct thing. And so I do think that people my age and young adults, for the most part, with social media and being able to go on Instagram and have your feed be filled with the news, as well as all these other fun things, or being able to have access to news at your fingertips. I do think that a lot of the youth and the young adults are very politically engaged, and I think that because there's so much content from the news that you can experience in a day, whether it's on Instagram or Google or Yahoo email or wherever you may find it, I think a lot of people are disillusioned because the news, especially recently, has been pretty politically grim. And so I feel as though when, millennials and Gen Z experience that, there's not a lot of hope that we have because of everything that we're reading or everything we've lived through. But I would say that most people are informed. And as a young person, the most you can do politically, especially before you're the age of 18, is be informed. And then once you turn 18, you're informed and you vote and you can get more involved. And I do feel there's, an active youth population voting, and especially in the last election, there was huge turnout, more than in the last few decades.
So okay, so that comes up to a point where I need to ask. I want to ask this. So yes, I do definitely understand that. Okay, so you know, Gen Zers, millenniums. I'm X. Greg is baby boomer. Okay, so I know during my time, which is way up there, pushing the issues and where I see it from different, different types of school systems, and knowing that, I was not inner city or in other communities. I was not in that. But what I did see and what I noticed in my college years and noticed as growing up in that era is that there was a difference in the communication. Diversity was, I want to say it right because this is talk about, but it's daytime television. So I want to make sure I say it correctly. So diversity was there, of course, among those of us who it was taught and brought into family recognition, because we don't sit there. That's what I don't see. We don't. I see with younger populations that they're not sitting down, or the parents who are younger parents than myself, or younger family people who are trying to start, are not sitting down with their own and trying to bring that recognition and make that change happen. So now that I am and Greg we are at this point where we have a baby boomer and we have a Generation X who have pushed and fought for that. Somewhere it dropped. That's where I think that what I'm seeing. Somewhere it's dropped, and where is that your generation, who is your Z. So Generation X, Y, Z. Y dropped somewhere else, which I don't know, in the middle. Millennials picked up, and Z picked up, and yes, with social media and with finding all of the political things that they have to, where they can find all the resources that they have. But it's not connecting with the others. So what they have here down in this age now and up today is not connecting with those of us who were there. So we're not teaching each other. Teach, what is it? Teach one, learn one, teach one, something like that. But it seems like, yes, there is the fight. Like we were talking, Roe versus Wade, that was extremely detrimental. I don't even think they should have gotten to that point. But not only that, that's even like with civil rights or anything, that should not have even gotten to that point. But where were the ones that were up here who did not come in abundance to try to help that, to alleviate that and to stop something like that, or to make it shouldn't have been just left up to the younger generation to have that feeling and that taken away from them. Something should have been preventing before that. What are you thinking? What are you guys thinking? No? Yes? Maybe?
I definitely think that it's not also necessarily a generational issue.
Right.
As more of just in general.
A people issue.
An issue of politicians and who is being put in power and what they're doing with the power that they have, and what they're right, because when it comes down to politics, it comes down to money, and so it's who's funding what campaign, why are you aligning your values with X group, and whose agenda is really the one in power. And I feel like it's kind of this bigger issue on a global scale of right-wing politics taking over in Italy, in the EU, in Eastern Europe, in West Africa, in South America, and in the U.S. It's a global issue of right-wing politics and their agenda. Okay. And I feel as though that is something bigger to the conversation to add, is on this global scale, why is this happening right now, and what can anyone in any generation do as a voter to prevent that agenda and prevent those politics?
Okay, all right. I get you, Marissa. I get you. But I still say in politics, because the average politician is 70 years old, it still goes back to their generation and their wealth.
Yeah, I do agree with that, although unfortunately there have been recent young, millennial politicians, one of them is Ben Shapiro, and he is a millennial, and he's still promoting this incredibly right-wing, misogynistic beliefs in politics. And so I don't know if there's a trickle-down happening or what, but I do know that there are still younger politicians that, they might not be the ones in the seats of power, but they're continuing to promote these ideas.
Well, yeah, and that's because they're looking to make something for themselves, and they're self-focused about them and their wealth and what they want to do. So you're right about that, but still, it's a big mess. It really is. Really is a big mess, and we got a lot to see because I can't even imagine what's going to happen with this voting come in November.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really messy election.
It's going to be insane. Insane. It really is. Well, enough about that with the politics of that. We're talking about let's go back to the youth again, Marissa, you and Greg, because we have our youth the youth programs that are coming up, which is nice. And bridging. Tell me about the bridging. What do you foresee that? What is that going to be really about? What is the purpose of bridging? Because now we can go right back to that, bridging the youth with the senior populations and stuff.
I mean, I think the biggest aim there to have this intergenerational social interaction happening on both sides, where the youth are able to go and have workshops and do service for this elderly population in their area, and like get to interact with them, and as well as learn about the best ways to interact with the elderly or some of the bigger issues that the elderly population face, and at the same time, the senior citizens are able to like engage with the youth and talk to them and learn about what they're experiencing, going through, and just being able to kind of form that connection, even though they're at two different stages of life, they still have things to learn from each other and just in general connect on a human scale. And I think it's also helpful to, no matter what your age is, always be willing to learn and experience and grow different things with different people. And I think that program is a great way to put that kind of learning into action.
Okay, all right. That should be a fun program. That should be really nice, and then to be able to grow that. So we look forward to that. That's nice. So now, what about the health and wellness?
Okay, for health and wellness, there'll be an educational fair coming up in the spring to promote all different aspects of health, from public health down to like what you can do in your everyday life to be more healthy and have more wellness-minded focus. There will be booths with different vendors talking about their different programming and different things that they provide, and it'll be really exciting to bring back to our area of Connecticut.
That's nice. That's going to be nice. I look forward to that. That should be very exciting. Very exciting to that. Great work. Wonderful. So, this would be good. So once you are, I know you're going to be taking a little time off, and when you get back and you're able to come back up here up on the show, and we can talk about all the different things that are going to be going on. A few more things, 'cause I know there's some things that you are, keeping to yourself a little bit right now. But and then we can have more conversations about what's happening out here with our wonderful political geniuses that are out here. Okay?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much. All right then. So, and if you want to take a look at, I know that we're on live, but I know we were talking to some of them over in HEPA, and it'll be wonderful because we're going to be doing an artist collab with them, along with Linnea, and the artist collaboration that she has, so that we'll be able to showcase some of the art of, which that'll be nice too. So we look forward to you bringing some of the art. And the service coordinator, Sherry Hank, to bring some of the artwork and some of the senior programs that's happening over there at HEPA as well. And then they'll be able to see themselves on TV and all their beautiful artwork.
That'll be exciting.
Yes, it is. All right then, my dear. Thank you very much for coming on and talking to us and talking about all the different things. And we look forward to seeing you.
Sure, well, thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
That was wonderful. That was Marissa Hanks. She is very instrumental in a lot of the programs that we've created and that we are created, and initiating a lot of things on our web, web design, and focusing a lot of things on our like our show. She'll focus on that as well too. But she's doing a lot of things out there with the youth, and that makes it nice. And I'm happy about that. But Greg, what do you think when she was saying about the the youth and the and Generation Z, and how the right wing politicians and what's going on? What's your thoughts? I can see your brain going. What's your thoughts?
Well,
on that?
I mean, she has a point. She did mention about the politicians and the government and all other stuff, and
Yeah.
and but again, she did mention about education, getting jobs, and it's all about the government and the politicians. But well, for me myself, and I think you mentioned that earlier, here we go with mental health, and it comes from the home. And you mentioned that you have to. It comes from the home. You have to. You have to. You said it earlier. We kind of lost that home value. Sitting at the table,
Yeah.
talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know that family-oriented life.
Sitting on the porch.
Sitting with your
on the
family, just having a
Mhm.
conversation with your family.
Yeah.
Now, but you know what? Like me and you ourselves, we have 4 children, and
Even
work,
if they're
work,
not-
work,
yeah.
work, work, work,
Yeah,
work, work,
yeah.
work, work, work. Hey, where
Yeah,
your
we're all
mother at?
guilty
Where
of
your
it.
mother's at? Oh, she's at work. Where
Work.
your father's at?
He's
Your
at
father's
work.
at work.
Yeah,
Work,
yeah.
work, work, work. Bills, 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 bills,
Mhm.
bills.
Mhm.
And it's the economy, but here we go with the youth. While we're working, who's spending time with the youth?
Exactly. Or some of them are teaching
Who
themselves.
is spending time with the youth while we're out here trying to provide for the youth?
Well, fortunately, we were fortunate enough to be able to take our little ones and youth with us
Right.
during our work time.
That's another
so that
thing.
We can teach them.
Now that's
and sometimes you're not having a lesson plan
Right.
made out for them.
Right.
But at least they're exposed to
and
it.
they
And they
see.
see it, or
That-
they hear what's going on in the
I'm
conversation.
glad, I'm glad you mentioned that, Floresia, because that is a great plus that we were able to do that, and so they can see, so they're not being left with somebody else or by themselves. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not
Right,
saying this
right.
is bad. I'm just
Exactly.
saying we just lost that morality of the family at home sitting at the table or wherever talking about what's going on and teaching them, And so when they do get older or they do get older and can see the values. I think that's what you mentioned earlier too. I don't know if it was this show. The values, the family values of life, and we need to get back. We must. I say need. Must is a strong word, America. We must get back to that family values. I mean, good family values. And you mentioned that earlier, Floresia, diversity. We must get to diversity and to the we just had Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King Day was just the other day. I have a dream.
Yeah.
Judge a person of not the color of their skin, but the character.
The content of their character.
The content of their character. We must get back to that. We must. because we must, and to love. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'm not better than anybody. I'm just different. And I'm just different. But we must get back to that family value of life. And like I said earlier, Martin Luther King's birthday was just the other day, and you know, he was for all people. You know, he was for all people. He was just a black man for all people. You know, and the youth needs to get back and see that. You know, it happens. And they say, "Oh, it happens in schools." No, it starts from the home. Starts from the home. And you know, I just pray to my higher power and pray to God that the new baby boomers, the new babies coming into this world, that sees that. And it's up to the parents. And remember, we had 4 children. They all went to high school. No, we need. What did you say to the teachers? We need to. You don't need to teach them. What do you say to them when we went to?
They're there to advocate for them.
Right.
And we are part of the team.
Right.
You know, so you're there to be the advocate, and let us know when there's something that's. But then also, like you just said, we have parents that are working very hard just to make sure that, and that should not be the struggle that we have, because everybody has a right to food, clothing, and shelter. So, but yet there are, because, you know, Marissa mentioned it, because rents are so high, and because, you know, things, it's economics are hard right now. You know, I was talking to someone, and they were saying a 1-bedroom is $1,800 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. $1,800 a month. If you do the math, and at minimum wage, which is $15.69 at this time, that does not equate to you being able to afford rent, a car payment, a phone, or transportation in any way, plus your food. And hopefully everything is included in that $1,800, but I doubt if it is. You know, I've come across some senior complexes, and a few of them that are out of the area, that where, yes, everything is included, but, you know, one in particular that's in the Meriden, Cheshire area, where seniors are paying $5,200 a month. What is that? I understand that we get to a point where we make sure that we're well established upon retirement, but $5,200 a month is quite a bit. No. So, you know, and how you're not working all your life just to take and just pour into there, and then you still don't have that. If we keep continuing the way it is now, with the youth and with, you know, those who are trying to, you know, have and start up families, they're not going to be able to. So then, what kind of generation are we going to have with babies coming up? You know, people who are having children, how are they going to even survive? We're just only talking about a 1-bedroom apartment with one income, and it's $1,800.
Well, that's where I think that's the reason, Floresia, why you started the Sweet Potato Society. Mm-hmm. And not just for food, but giving and helping people. Like you said, what you don't know, you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
And if you do know, so be it. So be it.
Share it.
Share it.
Share it.
That's
with
why
anybody
you came up with Sweet Potato Society, so you can share.
Yeah, because it's not yours to keep.
It's not yours to keep.
Only if you're greedy.
Right.
Only if you're greedy.
Right.
Other than that, then it's not yours just to keep and hold on to it.
Right.
You hold on to it for what reason?
And please, America, when Floresia started this program, and I helped support her, bringing the food and stuff to people. There's rules and regulations what she has to go through, but you don't have to give your whole life history. You really don't. You don't have to give your whole life history when we do deliver the food. You know, trials and tribulations. No, there's rules and regulations she has to do, and it's not your whole life history. and she explained that we're just happy to Floresia's happy to start this program and me supporting her because, and she'll speak on this, America. When she was young and my mother raised her, father raised her, she never wanted for anything.
No.
They made sure that she had what she needed, and that's why, another reason why she gets very emotional, America, about the things that she does, because she doesn't look for anything in return. She does it from her heart, and I support her, and together, like I said earlier, a higher power, God, whatever you choose to call yourself, to help you in life. That's all we do it for, and so when we do deliver the food, I help her deliver the food. We don't ask your background, what you need, or why you need the food, or you got to pay this. No, we don't. No, she doesn't ask for all of that. And like I said earlier, we just do it from the heart, and we're just blessed. We're just blessed able to do that, and we're just blessed. And
well, thank you.
Thank you, Floresia.
Yeah. It's
thank
fun
you.
too,
Oh,
it is. I am very
definitely.
passionate. I'm very passionate about what I do.
Definitely.
And I think that that's the only reason why I started, because you see so many people who don't have and never been taught that you can't have. Everyone has a right to have things, and it doesn't hurt any of us to give somebody a meal. Now, I'm not going to give you any money, but it doesn't hurt anybody to give someone a meal, to feed someone. It never hurts to give someone food. And just because you're giving it to them doesn't mean that they have to accept just anything. No one has to do that. No one has to do that. We have commercials on TV for Fresh Pet or Farmer's Dog, where we are calculating and making beautiful meals and refrigerating them for our pets. So we don't expect them to just eat anything. So why do you expect any human to eat anything either? And trust me, I love my pets. But, we'll talk about a whole bunch of other stuff very, very soon. And we look forward to seeing you next week on our show. And we thank you, Greg and Marissa, and for everyone else. But anyone else calling in, just, or you want information, come and talk about it with us. We look forward to seeing you.